On the last page, you were asked to try to solve 1/2 x plus 1/4 equals x over 4 plus 2 by any strategy at all. Maybe you were able to use the graphing technology. Maybe you use the steps you've already learned to collect the terms together and solve. There's lots of different ways that you could possibly solve it, and now we're going to talk about what might be for you the easiest way. So we have a lot of fractions in this question, and working with fractions is sometimes confusing. There's lots of steps, and we have one strategy just to eliminate the fractions completely. So we do this by looking at all the fractions that we have. We have a 1/2, we have a 1/4, we have another 1/4. Now, let's look at the 1/2. What would we have to multiply 1/2 x, or could be x over 2, what would we have to multiply that by to get rid of what's in the denominator? Well, if we multiplied it by 2, it would get rid of the 2 in the denominator. Let's have a look at the x over 4. What would we have to multiply that by to get rid of the 4? We'd have to multiply it by 4. Okay, so maybe we could multiply this side by 2, and then everything by 2, and that by 2, and that by 2. We could do that, so that's one strategy. And then when we're all done there, have a look again and see what else we could multiply by. We're going to have to multiply. If we did that, we'd end up with here 2 times x over 4. That'll reduce to x. Let me just do this off to the side for you. If you multiplied everything by 2 to get rid of the 2 here, you'd have 2 times x over 4, and then that would reduce to x over 2. So you'd have to multiply everything by 2 again to get rid of this 2 in the denominator. There is a shortcut. You multiplied by 2 twice because that's the lowest common denominator of everything here. If we figure out the lowest common denominator and multiply everything by that number, it'll get rid of all of our fractions. So in this case, we need a number that 2 is going to divide into and 4 is going to divide into. Well, that's pretty easy. It's going to be 4. So we're going to multiply everything by 4. So we have x over 2 plus 1/4 is equal to x over 4 plus 2. Now we're going to multiply everything by 4 over here and everything by 4 over here. Remember that you have to distribute into the brackets because the 4 is multiplying everything. So let's write out lots of steps so we don't make any mistakes. 4x over 2 plus 4 times 1/4. Oh, we're so lucky, it's only 1. 4 over 4 equals 1. And here we have 4x over 4 plus 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, so over here the 2 is going to cancel. We'll be left with 2. 2x plus 1 is equal to x plus 8. Not too bad. We've already done a question like this. Let's collect our x's together. So I'm going to just squish in an extra little line here. I'm going to move this x over. I'm going to subtract x from both sides. So now I have 2x minus x is x plus 1 is equal to 8. Not too bad. One more step. We're going to subtract 1 from both sides. X is equal to 7. Is that what you got using your other strategy? I hope so. How would you do a check? Well, we could do a check on this. Let's do one over here. Check. We work on the left side and the right side separately. The left side of the equal sign, that's what that means. And the right side. So what happens when we sub in a value of x into the left side? We would get 1/2 7 plus 1/4. 7 over 2 plus 1/4. We need a common denominator, 14 over 4 plus 1/4, 15 over 4. All right, I hope we get 15 over 4 on the other side. Okay, 7 over 4 because, whoops, 7 over 4, because x was in the numerator, we subbed in 7 for x, plus 2 is equal to, well, we need to put that 2 over a common denominator of 4, so 8 over 4, oh, it's looking good, 15 over 4. Great, that works. And a lot of times at the end we'd say, therefore, x equals 7, something to show that you know what that check means. You could write therefore x is equal to 7. Great.